Hello my darlings, this is Devika Bade coming at you again. And today we're going to discuss about something that I get asked all the time. My LinkedIn is full of questions asking me, how did you back that corporate job? What did you do? I see that you are also from a different background, but the field that you're working in is completely different. How do you do that? Etc, etc, etc. Now before I get into the do's and the don'ts and the very essential things about an interview, because an interview is ideally a make or break, I would like to first put a disclaimer, and that is, don't be afraid to walk into that interview unless obviously the job is so highly or so extremely technical that you won't be able to put the head to the tail. Do not be afraid of the interview. If you know that there is a small gap or even a medium level gap that can be bridged with a particular course or some kind of training, do not be afraid, because you never know what an employer might see in you that you might not see in yourself, and they might hire you. So do not be afraid. And for the worst comes worst, even if you do not back that job opportunity, you already know what you need to work on and what skill set that you need to have, and then you can go ahead and build that CV for yourself. So I want to start by saying that. And now we will go to the number one point I'd like to discuss with you is know the bloodline of the company. Now this is very, very important. What I mean by bloodline is know the A to Z of the company you can. Research is crucial. You cannot walk into an interview without knowing, let alone the foundation, but even the history of an organization and what it stands for. Okay, because I have friends and colleagues around me, and we've had these discussions, these lunch table discussions, and I hear these instances all the times, and you'll be surprised at how many more there are than you actually think there would be. But a simple fact like know the pronunciation of the firm and how do you call it, right? You cannot walk in and not know about those things. Who is the founder? When was it founded? What is the cultural history? How did it come about? You know, what were the roots? Which country was it developed or set up in? And this does not only stick to the questions that the interviewer asks or just to answer those questions. It gives you an in-depth understanding of what you're getting into. And if you're really serious about getting that corporate job or getting into that particular firm, it's very important, because you will not last in a firm that you do not understand or that does not understand you. So very important tip, know the bloodline of the company. Now, we have all heard about the tip of the iceberg theory, that you can only see the tip of the iceberg through your naked eyes, but when you see deeper, it's massive. And I think that's the history of any organization and what they do. If you come into an interview and I need to keep questioning you to assess your interest in the firm, I will be immediately put off, because I, as an employer, do not want to put the effort to ask you how interested you are in the company. Make it easier for me to assess how important or how crucial this particular job offer is for you. And one way you can do that is dig deeper. Look beyond what people look at. Go beyond the first page of that Google search. It's as simple as that. Go to the 5th page, go to the 6th page, search by tags, see what activities the firm has been involved in. You never know what piece of information might be important, and the more you know, the more confident you will be. Look at all the CSR activities done by the company. Look at their talks that they have done. Look at where the CEO goes. Who has he spoken to? Which news channel has he come on? What pitch does he say? Listen to his speeches. Understand where the culture comes from. Understand where he comes from or she comes from, or they come from, and only then will you make a mark, because that really proves. And the first question, no matter what question an interviewer might ask you, the moment you go above and beyond those set expectations of, oh, it was founded in this year by this person, and you go deeper than that, that's an immediate hint to your interviewer saying, okay, you know what, this person knows enough. I do not need to keep pestering and hitting that same spot again and again, because I know this person wants to be in the seat. So I'm gonna let that rest, and I'm gonna look at things that are more specific to the person than to the organization. So go deeper than what you see on the surface, understand more, learn more, research more, read more. Because the moment you talk, you won't even realize when you can use these point of references, and it's gonna be a game changer. Trust me. When I hear somebody, who says, this company was founded in this particular, okay, those are important things, but it is also important that last year that organization planted 5,000 trees right next to the place that you live in. And maybe when somebody asks you, oh, okay, so where do you live? Do you live around here? And you say, okay, I live 5 blocks around the corner. That's exactly where the firm had planted 5,000 trees last year. Boom. Point of reference created. You know more than what meets the eye. Obviously, don't overdo it in every point, but it's as simple as that, and it leaves it on a good note, saying that, oh, you know what, this person knows. On the exact previous note that I left off is about going beyond the surface. Another point that I've written down is to relate to the firm. Now, this is something that might not be obvious, but like the example I gave last time about the trees being planted right next to where you live, whenever you relate to the firm, like I said, the interviewer does not have to break a muscle or flex a muscle just to, know your place on the range of, oh, I want to be in this firm, or oh my god, this is my dream job. And you don't have to say it desperately, oh my god, this is my dream job. You have to prove it. And the way to prove it is when you relate yourself to the firm. And how to do this? Again, more research, knowing more about the firm, and knowing about yourself. If you're genuinely interested about the firm, let's say the firm is talking, if an interviewer is asking you a question about, oh, that there are certain shifts that we have in this particular company. Some shifts start as early as 6 o'clock. How do you think of it? And you can immediately say, I was in a school that used to start at, like, let's say 5 or 6 o'clock, and this is a very random example, 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and I've always been a morning person. I like to do my stuff in the morning because I'm more productive that way, so I have no problem doing those things. And I really know that the firm appreciates punctuality because it eases out other people who have to come for a later shift. Their work gets better if I'm on time. It's a simple example, it shows your understanding, it shows how you connect the dots in your head. It also shows that you know yourself and what you can contribute to the firm. So try to relate and create links between you and that organization, right? The organization is like the father, you need to know your father, you need to know the roots, you need to know the links, you need to know how similar and how different you are from that father, and how conducive that similarity or that difference is to bridge the gap between you and that job opportunity. All right. The next thing that I have noted down here is oh my god, it is so simple and yet not simple. Do not be disrespectful. You do not know what are the boundaries of a person, do not cross them. Have the general basic etiquette, the way you talk, the way you approach people, tonality of your voice, very simple things, right? I am a person who I don't know if this is my weak point or it's my strength, but I consider it both because I'm a very intense person. If I am passionate about something, girl, this face is no jokes. But you need to understand that when you are sitting there, you are looking at people who you might or might not see again. So you don't know what background they come from. And you have to give them the benefit of doubt because they are sitting in a position of hiring you and not the other way around. So try to be respectful. Try to have the basic etiquette laid down, like the volume, the tone, the basic face. You don't want to look not approachable. I'm not trying to say be fake. Be yourself. But certain things that are obviously going to put someone off, try to avoid them as much as possible. Do not treat the other person immediately as your BFF. Alright, the next point is a kind of an amalgamation of two things, and that is setting unrealistic expectations as well as knowing what's on your CV. Now, if you have written the CV, which I hope you have, or at least have reviewed it, you need to know what's out there and what's in there, all right? Think of it as a goddamn roadies audition, right? Yeah, if you've written it, and if they ask you to perform it right there and right then, be it 20 push-ups or a cartwheel, you gotta be able to do it, or don't put it there, right? If you say you know how to write a poem, you better be able to make a poem on the spot, because girl, you wrote poetry right there. Because if you do not know what's written in there and you've just written it for the heck of it, well, you know there are 300 other people who are waiting for that job and who are cutting edge competitive, right? You will not last a minute because you are not being honest, right? The honesty starts right on that paper and trails along till that interview. So make sure that you are honest on what you write. Do not set unrealistic examples. You do not have to be an exceptional person at everything you do. Just know whatever it is that you've written on that CV, damn well you know it and you are ready to do it if they ask you to. Do not be surprised, all right? Because it's an interview, right? Whatever you write over there, that's the piece of paper that you're saying, you know what, you can test me on these things and I'm giving it to you as an information, right? They did not search on the internet or Facebook and say, I saw a video of you dancing, do you mind dancing? No, that's not how it works. So know what's in your CV, because I have heard from friends and peers that people have literally in the interview been like, can I see my CV? I just want to see something. And I'm like, no girl, you cannot see that CV. I ain't letting you see that CV. I will see you later, not the CV. Right? Okay. Now, this second to last point, take it with a pinch of salt. Do not come with a script, because it's very obvious, it's very understandable, and a person can read through it. And again, then there are high chances of you being surprised if things go outside your script. So do not come with a strategy. Now, why I mention this point is a lot of people, everybody goes through something or the other in their lives, all right? And we all have instances that we've shown strength in, and I understand, which is why there are questions in an interview like, okay, tell me a piece of your personal experience, or tell me in your personal life, when have you shown the most amount of resilience, etc. A lot of other things. But using that one exact point to explain everything is not the right thing. It might be the biggest act of bravery that you have done, and it will be appreciated when you put it in the right place. But making the whole interview about that one experience or that one act of bravery is not going to be it. And you do not want to look like an emotional mess, right? You need to show strength, I understand, and you need to mention it where it needs to be mentioned, 110%. But do not portray yourself as a mess, because it shows that there are certain things that you're still working on and you are not mentally prepared for what's coming at you, and that's not what we want to display. Well, I'm exaggerating, I'm just being dramatic. The last point I just wanted to say was, do not be too fidgety. Do not be overtly fidgety. Do not keep touching yourself. It's a sign of insecurity, fear, how to hide what. Try to be as calm as possible. Try to take 3 deep breaths, sing, do the dance, do whatever before stepping in. Take a deep breath and just be yourself. And trust me, that will work like magic. So yeah, I feel like that's overall. And just to reiterate the point of, do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. If you feel like there is something for you there, and if you go and step into that interview, and trust me, if you believe in yourself that you can offer something beyond what's there on the paper, there are enough number of people who are ready to take that shot, and who are ready to take that risk, and who are ready to believe in what you believe in, right? And you will have time to test yourself and prove yourself. And so don't think of it in a very rigid way. Try to be flexible, try to be open, and let me know if you have any more questions. All the best, and go bag that job.